The way that you're gonna play as an attacking midfielder will really change according to the opposition. How they play will really affect what kind of an attacking midfielder you're gonna be for that day. So you really will have to improvise your own game, adapt your own game according to the opposition. You also play a significant role when it comes to defending as an attacking midfielder. There are two very important attributes that every attacking midfielder must have. One is scanning and awareness. You will not be comfortable to use the knowledge that you have about the attacking midfielder positioning if you don't scan on the pitch. If you don't scan on the pitch, your awareness is weak. You have to be scanning throughout the entire game, every second of it. You constantly have to have your head up, you constantly have to be shoulder checking to see where your teammates are, to see where the opposition is, how tight are they to you, or what kind of runs your teammates are making. Because this is really gonna determine where you need to be on the pitch as an attacking midfielder. If I told you right now that you have to be at the certain position when your teammate has the ball, that would be a lie, because that is really gonna depend on where the spaces are, where the gaps are. And this is why scanning and awareness is incredibly important, because you are the one that needs to find those gaps so you can actually go to that location, receive the ball comfortably and turn with the ball comfortably. Ideally, if you can, if there is gaps, it's better for you to receive the ball centrally as an attacking midfielder, but this is gonna be very tough because usually, I would say 100% of the time, the teams likes to close and keep the central areas compact so you don't get to receive the ball in the central channels, because that's where your team are the most dangerous. Personally, I played many years as an attacking midfielder. I like to take the ball on the wide side of the field. And why is that? Because there is gaps, because there's spaces, because their pressure is less. Let's say you lost the ball, which you will lose the ball. That's not gonna be rare. You're gonna lose the ball quite often as an attacking midfielder because you are the kind of player likes to take more risks. When you lose the ball, you have to be constantly aware of what you need to do next, because if you receive the ball on the wide side of the field, that means you pushed your winger to somewhere else where your winger is not supposed to be. So now there is gaps on the wide side of the field. Ideally, if you lose the ball when you're on the wide side of the field, you would have to shift central, still close the central channels and give the opposition the wide side of the field. And until your wingers come back, you must be doing this so your team is not getting counter-attacked on. And that's why it's very important to be aware of where your teammates are, where the opposition is, so you can immediately shift the cover to central position. If you have received the ball centrally and you know you are getting the pressure from the opposition, this is when you cannot afford to make mistakes. Obviously, they want to come up high, press high, win the ball and counter-attack. So if you lose the ball there, you're in trouble. That's why in this case, you're gonna have to play back simple, whether back to your center mids or your center backs. You cannot afford to turn unless you're 100% sure as an attacking midfielder. And only way to know how tight the opposition is to you is by scanning. And this is why I consider scanning as a #1 priority that every attacking midfielder must have. And then we get to the second most important attribute to have as an attacking midfielder, which is the game knowledge, which is the positional knowledge, but not only your position, every other position on the pitch, including the opposition. You must know what kind of runs wingers make. You must know what kind of runs center mids make, especially the opposition, because you must know where is the priority for a defensive midfielder to defend. Because now you're gonna be dealing with the opposition's defensive mid more than you deal with anything else. Which channel are they gonna be closing? So this is why it's very important to not limit yourself to know only your position or your winger or your fullbacks. You must know every other position on the pitch. That's why you must study the game incredibly well. Watch professional games, watch high-level football players and know and observe what they're doing when they have the ball and especially when they don't have the ball. As an attacking midfielder, your job is not to really press high to win the ball. you are more responsible of blocking the central channel. You shouldn't really be running unless there's a big opportunity that you know you're gonna win the ball. Otherwise, you're just losing the central channel, and now the opposition can play easily through those channels. So you must be patient, and you must be working incredibly well with your striker as well as with your winger. Because I'm gonna assume that your team plays in a mid-block team, because that's one of the most common formations the teams that plays. Let's say the opposition is starting from the back with a goal kick. You gave that space, you're allowing them to start short. So what happens is either the center back has the ball and plays it to their fullback, or the goalkeeper plays directly to their fullback. Now you must move towards that position where the ball is, where the fullback is, but not too tight. So you are basically allowing your striker to close the channels to their goalkeeper or to play back to their center back. Your winger is closing the channel that they can't play out wide easily, but preferably they play out wide. So your job is incredibly important to close those central channels. So you are going right in between your winger and your striker and not allowing the opposition to have the ball. So your goal as an attacking midfielder when it comes to defending is to not overwork your central midfielder, which means that the ball should not go through those central channels. So your center midfielder needs to come up and to win the ball, because when that happens, it really screws up with your team's formation. Now your center mid lost the position back there, and the opposition could be more dangerous. So your goal is to stay compact, not allow the opposition go through those central channels. You have to be patient to be able to do this on the pitch. Sometimes it can get more complicated if your coach wants your team to high press, then that means you still have to keep that in mind, that you are closing those central channels by putting a little more pressure, by sometimes maybe going towards the fullback and allowing your winger to shift back right behind you to potentially win the ball if you're high pressing, which usually happens if your team is losing the game and you want to press high to win the ball and help your team out for counter-attack quick. Trust me, the modern day of attacking midfielders have much harder job to do compared to the old times attacking midfielders, because old times attacking midfielders was giving that extra freedom, or some super talented attacking midfielders or false nines are giving that role, that extra freedom still to this day. Players like Lionel Messi, but you are not Lionel Messi if you're watching my video. That's why you need to be more focusing on the modern day of attacking midfielders rather than old-fashioned attacking midfielders. I hope you enjoyed this video and this video was helpful for you. Please drop a like, subscribe to my channel with the notifications on. You can also find my playlist right over here. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next time.